hosting the Los Angeles Raiders. Mike Patrick and Joe Theismann on the call. Every one of our games has been close. Gentlemen, it's yours.
Chris, thank you very much. And this is Jack Murphy Stadium in San Diego, where we have the first sellout crowd of the season, 61,863, to watch an AFC West battle between the LA Raiders and the San Diego Chargers. Over the course of time, the uniform has changed, but the players remain the same. Ronnie Lott has always been a winner. For 10 years in San Francisco, Lott was the defensive force behind 4 Super Bowl titles. Then the Niners did the unthinkable. Now color him silver and black as the Raiders welcome yet another season winner. With the playoffs clearly in sight, Lott is motivated for another championship run.
Great players accept change and then do something about it. What great people do is they come in and adapt to the situation. They find a way to fit in, then they let themselves flourish.
Denver now has a half-game lead on the Raiders, but Los Angeles swept the series with the Broncos and would win any tiebreaker. Kansas City just behind in football's most competitive division. Good evening, everybody. I'm Mike Patrick. It's great to have you with us tonight. Earlier this year, when the Raiders lost to San Diego, they found themselves at 3-3. Since then, they've been one of the hottest teams in football, winning 5 of the last 6 games. And Joe Theismann, best of all for the Raiders, they know if they keep winning, the division title is all theirs.
Absolutely, Mike. This is truly a must-win for the Raiders tonight. When you take a look at their remaining schedule, they've got Buffalo, New Orleans, and Kansas City. Their defense has played very well, but on offense, they're starting to get the big guns back. Nick Bell has been activated for tonight's game. He gives them the big battering ram to go inside. Marcus Allen will be featured more tonight simply because he's on grass. He hates to play on AstroTurf. They don't like him to play on AstroTurf. But they brought Jay Schroeder here to throw the bomb, and that's what he's going to do tonight. Look for Willie Gault going down the field to run under Schroeder's bombs tonight.
It has been a disappointing season in San Diego, but then this is a franchise that has suffered through a series of disappointing seasons. And to make it worse, a rash of key injuries at critical positions like quarterback.
Well, the one at quarterback, which was an injury that prevented John Friesz from playing much last week, is okay tonight. John Friesz will start. They've molded a little bit of a cast for his left ankle, but it's really not the ankle, it's the membrane between the bones. He seems to be all right. He's going to give it a try. But you know that they're not going to count on John Friesz to win this game. They're going to give the ball to Marion Butts. They're going to try and run it. This is a football team that wants to play field position football. Make the Raiders go a long way. Let us take the ball a short distance. All 3 aspects, though, of the Chargers must play well tonight. Their offense, their defense, and their special teams must play above par if they got a chance to win.
Dan Henning in his 3rd year with the Chargers. He has not had a winning record here or with the Falcons as a head coach. And Art Shell, who took over the Raiders 3 years ago to get them out of the doldrums. Since then, he has won more than 2/3 of his games. These teams, of course, met earlier in the year, week 6, and it was at the Coliseum. And San Diego won it 21-13 on the strength of 158 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground. So the LA Raiders looking for payback time tonight. And, of course, this is a game that they need to win. And it sounds a little strange for a team that's 8-4 to say that they have to win the remaining 4 games of the season. But in this division, it looks like they really do have to win them.
This division this year, Mike, has taken over the place of the AFC Central, where you had Houston, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, and Cincinnati battling over the latter couple years. Of course, 8-8's not going to cut it this year in the playoffs. This football teams are going to have to win at least 10, 11, maybe 12 to win this division. Could be a couple wild cards coming out of here as well.
For some people, there is Gil Byrd, the premier defensive back of the San Diego Chargers, in the jacket and street clothes tonight. He will not be able to play, and this is the last thing the San Diego defensive secondary needed, with somebody like Jay Schroeder and all these speed burners.
Absolutely. Gil Byrd is the heart and soul of that secondary. They look for him to make plays. Here's a guy who just doesn't get the recognition as an all-pro. Mike, in the last 4 years, including this year, he's had 27 interceptions. He's averaged 7 interceptions a year. Now, there isn't a cornerback in football, a secondary guy in football that can say that, but yet he hasn't gotten the Pro Bowl recognition because he's in San Diego, because they don't win. But they really need his guile and his savvy because he just knows how to play these receivers. Somebody else is going to have to start making some big plays, or will have to make big plays in that secondary for him.
John Carney teeing it up at the 35. The San Diego place kickers. The Raiders have won the toss. Napoleon McCallum and Jamie Holland will go deep. Holland, of course, the former Charger. Sam Grady inactive tonight. He has returned the majority of the kicks this year. Grady with an injury. And this is the big play team of the NFL's big play teams. First sellout of the year in San Diego, 61,863, and we're underway. Jamie Holland out to the 24-yard line. And now for tonight's McLean Deluxe starting lineup. Jay Schroeder has not matched his career season of 1990. He's rated only 9th in the conference. Interceptions up, scoring passes down. The running backs have been hit hard by injuries. At times, Roger Craig's been the only healthy one. He leads the club with 508 yards rushing. Steve Wisniewski, the Raiders' best athlete up front, a tenacious run blocker. He was a Pro Bowler last season in only his second year. Smith and Craig open at the running backs behind Schroeder. And Schroeder to throw on first down and looks deep. Throwing for Willie Golden and picked off. Intercepted at the 34-yard line by Darren Carrington. And Joe, you said it in the open. They'll go deep. They'll try to hit Willie Gault. And this time, the second-string free safety playing for the injured Stanley Richard played center field and got it.
Well, what happens is when the ball has to travel that far down the field, watch Carrington. He's looking at Schroeder. Now watch him break. There's the break on the ball. This ball hangs in the air too long, and it's thrown inside too much. Jay's got to throw this ball outside towards the sidelines, where the safety in the middle of the field can't make the play.
First break of the game comes 17 seconds into the first period. John Friesz, the quarterback. Marion Butts shakes a tackle, drags people with him. When he was drafted, John Friesz was labeled the quarterback of the future. Now he's the quarterback of the present. He'll try to play tonight on a bad left ankle. The Chargers second in the league in rushing, with Butts grinding it out at 4.5 yards a shot. He's 5th in the AFC in rushing. Injuries up front, but the best will start. Center Courtney Hall approaching Pro Bowl status in his 3rd year. Second and 7. Butts again. Ronnie Lott waiting for him on the outside. Cuts back about a yard shy of a first down. Greg Townsend has become the most feared Raider lineman on defense. He has 10 sacks this year after a Pro Bowl season, 12.5 in 1990. Longtime 49er Ricky Ellison was signed as a free agent a year ago. The middle linebacker second on the team in tackles. Another former Niner isn't done yet either. 9-time Pro Bowler Ronnie Lott tied for the NFL lead with 6 interceptions. Third down, call it 2 for the Chargers from their own 43. Butts for the 3rd straight time and a first down for San Diego, and this is what they did in the first game against the Raiders.
And this is vintage San Diego Chargers, Mike. What they want to do is they want to run the football. They've got all the big people up front. They've got 300-pounders. They've got 295-pounders. They want to pound the ball and pound the ball. And they also know that John Friesz is not the most mobile of quarterbacks. If they can protect him with a good running game, let him drop back on 3rd and 3 or 4 if he has to. That's the situations they're looking for.
Especially with him having a bad left ankle and his left tackle, Harry Swain, out with a broken leg. Leo Goaz is in there. He's a good run blocker, not so much a pass blocker. And Harmon gets his first carry of the game. Into Raider territory, down to the 45-yard line. Tom Benson made the tackle. And Ronnie Harmon out of Iowa, they picked him up from Buffalo, has really done a job for this club on third down especially.
Ronnie Harmon made the statement himself. He says, I'm a runner, not necessarily a receiver. Now watch how he gets in the pot. Watch how he gets into the line of scrimmage. See how the line creates that crease for him? They want to get him 3 yards. What he does after that is when he really becomes amazing.
Picked up 9 on that one. The Chargers rushing offense second only to the Buffalo Bills. Butts is back in as the single setback now. And Butts will try to pick up the first down, scrambles forward, and is very close to it. It will depend on the mark.
This might be a fumble. It is a fumble. Absolutely. What happened is before he hit the ground, the ball popped out. Unbelievable. Anthony Smith was there. But Winston Wass winds up picking the ball up, number 99.
Marion Butts had fumbled 3 times in 547 carries up till that one.
They run right into the center. This is simply 50-gut. He makes the play. Now there's the ball. It comes out. Winston Wass sees it laying on a body. He says, hey, I'll take it. You don't want it.
So 1 possession for each team, 1 turnover for each team. And they will not let the Raiders come up to the line of scrimmage. They may take another look at this one. But by that shot, it looked like it was obviously out.
The question is going to be, is his knee on the ground? What he's going to check, what the instant replay official should be checking at this point, is his knee on the ground before the ball comes out. That's what I'm sure they're going to be looking at.
After further review, the play stands. First down.
Didn't take him long to look at it either.
Spot the ball near the 45-yard line.
5 fumbles and over 500 carries. It just won't happen much to Marion Butts.
And the Chargers had a good drive going on the ground. Roger Craig cuts it outside. Martin Bayless up from his safety spot. Gets there in a hurry along with Junior Seau. On defense, San Diego has been disappointing. Bert Grossman only 3.5 sacks after averaging 10 in his first 2 years. At linebacker, Junior Seau, last year's #1 draft choices, is having an exceptional season. He leads the team in tackles. The secondary, as we said, injury-riddled with 2 starters hurt. Ex-Raider Sam Seal always seems to play well against his old club. 2nd and 8. Four-man rush. Schroeder with time. Underneath to Fernandez. And Fernandez brought down at the 49-yard line. Cedric Mack came up to get a piece of him after Junior Seau had an ankle.
The thing about the Raiders is their receivers have distinctive roles. Mervin Fernandez and Tim Brown run the crossing routes and will try and catch the ball and run with it. Willie Gault and Sam Grady, when he's in, who's inactive tonight, but Jamie Holland and Gault, they're the guys that are going to go up top. We saw it early. Now we saw the crossing pattern. It's the way Art Shell likes to control the offense. He likes, actually, in his own way, to control tempo with those receivers.
Only got 2 yards out of that one. Marcus Allen checks in as the single setback now and goes to a wing on 3rd and 6. Schroeder floats it incomplete. Had Ethan Horton, his tight end, open, and Jay Schroeder, never known for his touch in the passing department, floated it too long.
But you see, that's not really a touch pass, Mike. He's throwing the ball down the field. That's the thing that Jay Schroeder has to complete. Right now, if Jay Schroeder doesn't play better, the Raiders are in for a real long night. He started playing lousy football. He threw the ball the wrong place on the first interception, missed a wide-open receiver there. He's got to play better.
Gossett to kick to Kittrick Taylor, who is 5th in the league in punt return. Waiting at his 10. Low line drive kick. Taylor on the run at the 18 and takes it out of bounds. A punt of only 34 and very returnable, a return of 9. We're scoreless in San Diego, the Raiders and the Chargers. 10:03 on the scoreboard. Al Davis, upper center of your picture, the president, general partner of the Raiders. Thought he pulled another coup this year. Ronnie Lott, Roger Craig.
He did. Didn't have to think he did pull another coup.
Well, there was some question when he did it, but he hasn't made too many bad decisions, has he?
He really hasn't. He made a deal with Bobby Beckert. He traded Calvin Muhammad, Malcolm Barnwell to the Redskins, and he really stuck us. Believe me, I know that.
John Friesz throws the out pattern incomplete.
Mike, that one pass right there was a concern for John Friesz. When he told me about, he has a problem with his left ankle, or the area of his left ankle. When he drops back to pass, and they've got it taped up now with almost in a cast like, when he drops back to pass and he sets to the left, he can't really turn his hips and shoulders and put a lot of weight on that particular ankle, which causes him to be a little, see how he throws it out instead of stepping forward? That is, he said his concern was accuracy, and you can see why.
On 2nd and 10, back to Marion Butts, who pile drives his way across the 30. Friesz, of course, came off the injured reserve list a year ago in the last game and started. Billy Joe Tolliver had been the incumbent, and they went into the preseason in a battle. Friesz not only played better, but the fans in this town were really down on Billy Joe Tolliver.
You had a classic situation of one quarterback who they liked and constantly went downhill, another one who continued to progress and got better, and they made a decision. Coach Henning wound up with John Friesz early in the year as his starting quarterback. Tough to get a lot of continuity when you make a deal so close to the opener, but they have, and it's hopefully going to pan out for them.
3rd and 5. Friesz unloads in a hurry, sideline incomplete. Excellent coverage back there in the Raiders secondary. Terry McDaniel, the 3-year man out of Tennessee with outstanding speed, played it beautifully.
Toughest football team I ever played against to try and throw fades like that, the Los Angeles Raiders. The thing is there's such a small margin of error for you to put the football for a completion. Those cornerbacks are always so close to the receivers.
There's Tim Brown leading the AFC, number 3 in the NFL in punt return. Chargers said they'll punt it to him, but he'll have to chase it to get it. Kidd, very, very high. Brown coming up. Loose ball. I don't know if that touched someone or not. The Chargers think it did. The play has been whistled dead. A punt of only 24 yards, but maybe more importantly, no return.
The ball was not touched. 1st and 10.
Well, there's Tim Brown.
Oh, from that angle, it's tough to tell, but it came very close to Tim Brown's foot. They looked at that last punt, and it did not touch Tim Brown, but you can see what it makes a punting team do.
Absolutely, Mike. That is just the mere presence of a Tim Brown back there with his potential. They force you to change your kicking style, and you wind up with great field position anyway.
His biggest fan is Marcus Allen. He had nothing but wonderful things to say about Tim Brown. So the Raiders have the ball back with Steve Smith and Roger Craig in the backfield. Smith got it to midfield. Joe Phillips and Junior Seau combine on the tackle.
They say Junior Seau goes 900 miles an hour. When he comes to the stadium to get ready to play, it's 900 miles an hour. 6 sacks. Now here's a guy in college who never really had to play with much discipline. He was just so great, the coach said, go get him. He's had to learn. He spent last year learning. Now we're starting to see what a really great football player he's going to be.
2nd and 5 for Los Angeles. Craig found the seam, got very close to a 1st down, and where they're marking it at the 45, it would be. Joe Phillips, again, the nose man on the tackle, and Phillips is a guy who is coming back from an incredible injury. He was mugged by 3 people, beaten with pipes and steel-toed shoes, and out for nearly a year. A remarkable recovery.
He said he's had a little bit of a problem trying to get that aggressiveness back in, but you can see tonight he's playing like a different person. He's all over the field. Craig
Behind Smith gets another 4. Sayal again over there, along with Bert Grossman, number 92, 3-year man out of Pittsburgh.
Big thing about the San Diego Charger defense, one big cog is missing, Lee Williams. When they didn't get him into training camp and they had to trade him, that changed the entire approach for the draft and everything else for the Chargers. That defense misses Lee Williams tremendously. Ron Lynn has had to try and work around the vacancy that was created with him not being there.
And look at the difference in sacks, and that's mainly because of Grossman and O'Neal being so far down, and they say that's because Lee Williams is missing. Smith, he about a yard shy of a first down at the 36-yard line. Gary Plummer, the left inside linebacker, got him around the ankle. Plummer's been playing with a broken bone in his hand since the 5th week of the season.
You know, it's interesting. If you're at home watching this thing, you're thinking, you say, oh, geez, we thought the Chargers were going to run the football. Now the Raiders have run it. The reason the Raiders have run it is because Schroeder's missed really badly on 2 big passes. Terry Robisky, their offensive coordinator, is saying, all right, let me get into a tempo, and then maybe I'll try and take some shots later.
Of course, this is what they've always wanted to do, run, and then throw the bomb. 3rd and 2. Smith, first down. Power football from Los Angeles.
When you need 2 yards and you're the Los Angeles Raiders, why don't you go over Bruce Wilkerson and Steve Wisniewski? Left side, Ethan Horton tying up the linebacker. It's almost like a put-up 3 guaranteed. Terry Robisky, the offensive coordinator. See, he's signaling S. I got a little pain in my neck because of those S passes.
Craig behind Smith again, has a hole. High steps his way to the 21-yard line. Brought down by Darren Carrington, a gain of 13.
That's a case of, yes, the offensive line did a good job, but you saw Jay Schroeder check off. One of the big responsibilities that he has had to take on is calling the running game. See how the linebackers flow? Sayal gets caught up in the flow and pursuit. Roger Craig cuts back with some excellent eyes and makes a big gain. See him slide to the right, over. Then he goes, oh, geez, I got too far. Then they get out and get a hand on him. Montoya just managed to get an arm on him.
Another first down for the Raiders. And Smith, a workhorse with Craig on this drive, gets 2 or 3.
Steve Smith,
in case you joined us late, 4:35 to go first quarter. There is no score. Both teams have a turnover already.
7 straight runs that the Raiders have thrown up.
And all that draw does an inch at a time is draw up the safeties toward the line of scrimmage and then goodbye.
The other thing, too, is that front of the Chargers isn't that big. O'Neal's basically a pass rusher. Grossman's only 255. And Hinkle, their other end's only 269.
2nd and 6. Play action Schroeder. Horton couldn't hold it, caught in the air. That's an interception. And now they've blown it dead.
Now they don't know. The officials are walking around.
Gary Plummer got the ball, and it looked for all the world like Ethan Horton fell and kicked the ball up in the air. Plummer certainly thought so.
Little bootleg. It's set up great. You've been running the ball. You've run it 7 straight times. Horton on the crossing pattern. Schroeder throws this one behind him. There's the ball up in the air. Now, did it hit the ground? Let's take a look at it from another angle. Jay doesn't quite get his hips and shoulders turned around. There's the ball. Yep, hits the ground, kicks up in the air.
Good call. Marcus Allen is in on 3rd and 6. 4-man rush. Time. Tipped in the air. Caught by Allen. But at the 20, it will be a loss of 2. Joe Phillips, the nose man, looked like he was the one who got a hand on Schroeder's pass.
Boy, Joe Phillips is playing something special tonight. He's run sideline to sideline to make tackles. He's got a task in front of him handling Doug Mosbar, their center. There he gets his hands up as well. knocks it up in the air. And Marcus Allen says, if you won't throw it to me, I'll go pick one out of the air and make it a reception anyway.
Jeff Jager, the leading scorer in the AFC with 95 points, comes on to try the field goal. And has it. So the Raiders jump on top with 3:06 to go. First quarter, it's 3-0. From the goalpost cam, Jack Murphy Stadium in San Diego, 3-0 Raiders on a Jager field goal, 37 yards, and San Diego will get the ball back. Donnie Elder and Nate Lewis. Deep for Jager's kickoff. Elder at the 1. Did not make the 20.
Yeah, and you know, you can't do that. You have to catch it and run.
Torin Dorn down on special teams made the tackle for first quarter. We're in San Diego, and we hope you'll join us every Sunday for NFL football on ESPN starting at noon with Game Day. Chris Berman, Tom Jackson, Joe Theismann. They'll fill you in on everything going on. Then at 7 o'clock, prime time with all the highlights. And then at 8 o'clock next Sunday, Tampa Stadium with Minnesota Vikings, who are hanging on by their fingernails, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who have no fingernails left.
They fell off the cliff.
Bernstein in at running back. Following a wall of blockers, the flag is down as Bernstein gets out to about the 28-yard line. Great changeup here. Butts at 248. Then you bring in Bernstein at 238. He's just back from a back injury off injured reserve, but this one will come back on a holding call.
This is not the situation that the Chargers want to get themselves in. They're a football team that counts on the run, and it's tough to pick up big yardage.
Holding, offense, number 70. Half the distance to the goal, still first down.
Mike Zandowski, the left guard, is in there for the injured Eric Moten.
Number 70, left guard, locking on Howie Long. Gets the arms outside. You get the arms outside, and of course, and then when you grab the jersey and pull them down, it becomes a little obvious.
And Howie Long has to be helped off. The 11-year veteran out of Villanova. First and 18, and Harmon checks in for San Diego. And Harmon will get the carry on the delay and does not make it back to the 10-yard line. Bob Golick, 12-year man out of Notre Dame. They picked him up from Cleveland in Plan B a couple of years ago, and they're working on Long. He says when he's done, he wants to make movies and single-handedly save small countries for about $4 million apiece.
14.
Well, he'd like 14. He'll settle for 4.
Actually, he'd settle for the movie, I think. He said, and then he says, oh, by the way, I'll take points, too. These guys, I mean, they got this whole thing worked out already. I asked him if he'd give me a small part of it.
He said no.
I know. He said I could be the guy that operates the electronics.
Second and 17. Friesz against the 4-man rush, and McEwen can't get there. Ball overthrown. Eddie Anderson gave him a shot anyway.
That is a result of not being able to practice all week. John Friesz has not taken many snaps in practice. It was only Friday that he lined up and took about a dozen from behind the center. But you see, he throws this ball with the right touch, but he hangs it up just a little too far down the middle. See, watch his left foot. See, he just can't plant with confidence. And if you can't get a good foundation under you and throw with confidence, it's tough to put the ball exactly where you want to.
Third and 17. Friesz finally unloads, complete. Now the ball's loose at the 24. They'll whistle it dead and say incomplete pass. Anthony Miller got his hands on it, but Torin Dorn and Terry McDaniel were there, and Friesz has yet to complete a pass.
Oh, and Friesz took a shot on that one, hung in the pocket tough. Miller releases outside, working real hard against Terry McDaniel. Has a little bit of space. Watch him extend himself. Tries to cradle it and just can't quite hold on to it. Ball just gets away from him.
Well, Ronnie Lott came in at the end and made sure he wouldn't hold it. John Kidd, who tried to kick one very high,
they're going to take a look at it.
Now they will review it.
We saw the ball come out. The question is does it hit the ground before he gets a chance to cradle it back? Had the ball laying on a lot of bodies tonight. Winston Moss picks one up off a body. Got to have both feet down. Does he have possession? Now the ball is yet to hit the ground. Now it finally hits the ground. What they're looking at is once he makes the catch, does he get it into his gut, get both feet down, and is it ruled a catch?
Certainly not conclusive, and they will let the play stand. And now Brown waits at midfield. The Raiders anticipating excellent field position. Kidd kicking out of his own end zone. Brown from the 44. And the Chargers swarm after a 5-yard return, a punt of 34 yards. And now we've got a fight. Correct that, we have several fights.
There's no love lost between these two. There never has been. And wouldn't expect it to start tonight. And that's really where you see the effort and the energies is going to be on special teams, because guys get running head starts at one another. Number 27, Donald Frank, is out on the wing. Dan Land and Tony Doran trying to stop him, hold him, push him, grab him, get in front of him. Now he gets in position to make the hit. I mean, that's just pure effort. That's just great individual effort on the special team.
Marcus Allen in the backfield with Smith. But Schroeder to throw, again looking for Galt. Double coverage, incomplete. Carrington was back there playing center field along with Cedric Mack. And Willie Galt, who has had problems dropping some balls this year, could not run into that one. Happy to have the Goodyear Blimp Columbia with us tonight from Carson, California. Piloted by Nick Nicolari. Up in that chilly San Diego night air.
Well, I hope he's not outside. You think he's hanging
the blimp is.
He's hanging or pedaling.
Wherever we go, it's chilly. Look out, Tampa Bay. Smith and Allen on 2nd and 10. Everybody jumps.
False start. Number 72 prior to the snap. Off it. Still second down.
Mose Barr, the center, a Pro Bowler last year.
That's tough to do, because if you're the center and you start, more than likely everything else is going to start with you, because you're in control of the whole operation.
So now it's 2nd and 15 with 1:16 to go first quarter. Low scoring game, only 3-0. Neither team has a yard passing the ball yet. Comes the blitz. Schroeder hangs him in. Now they have it. Tim Brown to the 20, to the 19-yard line. Finally brought down by Darren Carrington. A gain of 26.
That's just Jay Schroeder. He'll go along, miss one, miss one, miss one. You try and come after him, and all of a sudden he breaks it. Cedric Mack's got to try and cover him all over the field. He gives him the inside with a little pick. Now Brown cuts across. Now watch what now he's like a punt returner. Now he's looking for space, looking for a place to go. Makes one guy miss, picks up a few extra yards.
Theismann winner out of Notre Dame. A first down for the Raiders inside the Chargers 20. Ready to throw again. Into the end zone. Martin Bayless knocked it down. Intended for Galt. He was covered by Carrington, and Bayless nearly had the interception.
From the goalpost cam, you see Schroeder looking out a little to his right, hangs the ball up, trying to get it over Bayless, but can't quite do it. Would have been behind Galt anyway, it looks like. Jay staring down the field, good release, good delivery. That's when he's at his strength, is throwing out of the pocket.
2nd and 10. Marcus Allen on the draw. First down and more. He powers his way near the 5-yard line. Marcus Allen, who says, I still can't run full speed, but happy to be back and be able to contribute to this ball club. Gain of 13. Say Allen Carrington had to make the tackle. And that will be the end of the first quarter from San Diego, where the Raiders continue to lead the Chargers 3-0. That Dan Henning would be gone before this season is over, but it is obviously not going to happen before the end of the season. First and goal. Raiders at the Chargers 6. Smith to the 1.
You know, Mike, Dan Henning only had 13 players left from the team he coached in '89, and there's been a lot of transition. I think Bobby pointed something out. Let's see how they play the last part of the season. You can blame continuity and quarterback changes and no Lee Williams on the early part of the year, but after you've played 12 football games, your team's pretty much settled in. I think they want to see how hard they play, and I'm sure he'll get them ready to play. Dan Henning's a good football coach. Yes, who's really been saddled with a lot of change and a lot of turnover on his football team.
Second and goal. Allen. Not this time. Submarined as he got back to the line of scrimmage. Looked like George Hinkle, number 97, on the bottom of the pile.
How many times do you have to watch this? And all you have to do is who gets penetration? Who's pushing who? Look at all the Chargers in the backfield. The Chargers are 2 yards into the backfield. They're the ones making the push. They're the ones making the play.
Who is number 1 all-time touchdown maker? Marcus Allen. And here is the Raiders' goal-to-go statistics for the year. They have not done well.
I think this is where you got to run a little play action, try and get the ball to Ethan Horton.
Allen. No.
See, I told you.
He may have lost a yard, and Bert Grossman nailed him in the backfield.
That's an attitude play. Right there, the Chargers wanted it more than the Raiders.
And now here comes the field goal team.
We saw it on the play before. Watch the Chargers. Look at them. They get under them. That's the key. They get under the Raider blockers and allow the smaller guy, Bert Grossman, to slide in and make the play.
Boy, George Thornton did a nice job making first contact and giving Grossman time to get there. So now Jaeger will try a 19-yarder after hitting one from 37. And Jaeger comes through, but that is the victory for the San Diego defense as they hold it to a field goal. It's now San Diego, California, where the Raiders, on the strength of 2 field goals, lead at 6-3. 6-0. Elder and Lewis away to kick. Elder across the 10. Got it out to the 23-yard line. Our presentation of college basketball will continue tomorrow night with the opening games from the ACC Big East Challenge at 7 o'clock. Up-and-coming Wake Forest against number 15 Connecticut. Then at 9:30, NC State against number 24 Pitt. You'll also see doubleheader action Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night, all starting at 7 from the last ever ACC Big East Challenge. And that's a shame that that's not going to be going on anymore. Howie Long, we are told, a strained left knee. And he will be out until at least halftime. That's a blow to the Raiders defense. Bernstein, the setback. Play action. Friesz with time and throws incomplete. Boy, the Raiders had some outstanding coverage in the secondary so far.
Mike, I really think they're trying to attack the Raiders at their strength, which are their corners. The wide receivers of the Chargers aren't barn burners, and they're not going to light it up. Even though Anthony Miller is the best, see how they take the outside position, Lionel Washington? Now, he's too close. There's no way. The thing is, I think you got to try and get the ball to your H-backs inside and your tight ends and your running backs against the linebackers of the Raiders, not their corners.
Howie Long with the ice pack on the knee, starting defensive end on the All-80s NFL team. 2nd and 10, they screw up an end around to Nate Lewis, and then he tries to make something out of it. Lewis ran right into Friesz.
You know, I said it before. What you're seeing is a result of a quarterback not being able to practice. As I mentioned, Friesz did not practice much all week. He didn't work on the running game at all, and he did take a few passes just to see if he could go. That left ankle is not very sound, and it's going to be a little sloppy through the first half till he gets really comfortable in running the offense again.
And I don't think there's anything that upsets fans more than seeing guys run into the quarterback trying to take a handoff.
Not to mention coaches.
11:50 to go first half. 6-0 Raiders. Four-man rush. Friesz had it knocked down at the line of scrimmage. Scott Davis had a hand up. And the four-year man out of Illinois, a former #1 draft choice, leaves Friesz at 0 for 6 tonight.
Bob Galliano finished up last week against the Jets. Took most of practice. Friesz goes back, does a nice job of setting. Seems to be getting a little more comfortable, but Davis doesn't get one hand up, gets two of them up.
He's had good protection, too. The offensive line's done a nice job.
They just, they can't make any yards on 1st and 10. That's what's killing them.
Kid the punt to Tim Brown. Brown waves the fair catch, makes it at the 43. Raiders with excellent field position again after a punt of 33 yards. Raiders lead at 6-0 over the Chargers. 11:34 to go first half of play. And we are at Jack Murphy Stadium for the only sellout of the year so far. 61,863. And the Budweiser storyline tells you that San Diego, the #2 rushing attack in the league, has only 28 yards so far, none passing. Jaeger has accounted for all of the scoring, and each team has a turnover. Marcus Allen and Steve Smith behind Schroeder. Allen. Martin Bayless. What a beautiful play. Fought off the block of Smith and submarine Marcus Allen. Bayless spent Thanksgiving with his teammates handing out food to poor families.
Watch the right side of your screen. Martin Bayless comes up on support. Smith trying to lead, but he still gets underneath. Does a good job of getting underneath the block of Steve Smith and getting to Marcus Allen. Martin Bayless has said, he said the Raiders just think they can do whatever they want against us. We have to play them tough.
Certainly did on that play. Good protection for Schroeder. Dumps it to Smith. And Steve Smith into San Diego territory, first down at the 46. Junior Seau and Billy Ray Smith chased him down.
Well, Steve Smith got his one catch a game. He's had 11 so far this year, so I ought to take care of him for the remainder of this one. Used as an outlet guy to try and have him dump the ball off. John Friesz talking upstairs to his coaches. Of course, Dan Henning being the offensive coordinator with the dismissal of Ted Coleman.
Allen. Down to about the 43-yard line is where they'll mark it. Thornton made the stop again. The rookie out of Alabama, their second-round draft choice. He's been playing a lot more since the 7th week of the season, working his way into the system. You were talking about San Diego being light up front. Thornton would help, 300 pounds.
Well, he helps the average. If Leslie O'Neal and Bert Grossman play near one another, you're talking, 260, 260. And most of the offensive linemen for the Raiders are over 300.
2nd and 7. Schroeder throws behind Fernandez, and he can't hold it.
Jay Schroeder has been improving as a quarterback over the last couple of years, and a lot of it because of the man with the pencil in his hand, Mike White, the Raiders quarterback coach. Of course, a lot of rumors flying around about him possibly being named a head coach in the National Football League with some eminent changes coming up. One of the areas mentioned is Indianapolis. Nothing confirmed, but the rumors fly.
Of course, Jay said he's not only helped him a lot as a coach, he's helped him as being a great friend to him. 3rd and 7. Time again for Schroeder. Wide open, Tim Brown. Bayless got a piece of him, but not before he got to the 24-yard line. Also, there was Donald Frank, a gain of 19. That was open.
Well, and that is when Jay Schroeder is at his best. When he gets an opportunity to get back in the pocket, set his feet, step up, and fire. Watch the protection. Look at the cup that's created for him. See that cup area right there? That's the perfect position to be able to throw the football. You have a throwing lane and an area to step up into.
1st and 10 Raiders, already leading 6-0. Allen behind Smith, and Bayless again did a great job. He stood up, Steve Smith, the blocker, and made sure Marcus Allen could not get the corner, making him cut back. And Plummer really finished it up. Number 2 tackler on the ball club.
Every Friday gets into a curling contest to work on his guns with the assistant weight coach. He beat him 22 straight weeks. They carry it over from year to year. You gotta have them big guns to play inside.
He had a sack this year, and that's you say a sack. It was his first since '86.
You say it like a surprise.
It was a big deal. 2nd and 10. Allen trying the other way, halfback pass. He can throw it. Dumps it off and dropped by Ethan Horton. Smith was looking down, or Marcus Allen was looking downfield, couldn't find anybody, finally dumped it to the converted running back, and he just dropped it.
You could almost tell they were setting this up. They've been sweeping it. Marcus is going to sweep this way. What's going to happen is the corner's going to come in and go here. Ethan Horton's going to slam it and slide out into the flat. Watch what Marcus Allen does. He looks down the field. Fernandez comes in, tries to go to the corner. Now, what you do is if your deep receiver's not open, as a quarterback is trained, you come down to the underneath receiver.
Not bad.
I mean, the man does everything.
He's thrown 24 times in his career and has 4 scored. 3rd and long. Here comes the blitz. Schroeder rolls out of trouble. Throws. Intercepted. Martin Bayless. Holy cow, what a game he's having. His first interception of the season.
This is from the goalpost cam. What's going to see now? This is the problem. As soon as Jay has to move out of the pocket, he just doesn't have the accuracy that he has when he's standing still.
2nd turnover for the Raiders. An interception of the first half, so the Raiders lead stays at 6-0.
San Diego's defense basically has been doing this job. The offense has to start something.
And they'll throw again on 1st down. And Friesz can't hit this one. Intended for Miller, and Lionel Washington was right there. Let me ask you, you've got the number 2 rushing game in the league as Jay Schroeder is on the phone upstairs to Mike White. Why don't you run the ball?
Well, because you want to try and make something happen. But the biggest problem for Jay Schroeder is to find out exactly what's going on. Now, the reason that he's on the phone upstairs is he's talking to Mike White. What they talk about is technique. What John Friesz is doing in the huddle is saying, listen, guys, we have to make a play. Somebody's got to make some kind of a play. If it isn't me, it's got to be you, Anthony, or you, Marion.
Because the San Diego defense has been out there the entire game. But Scott Davis wraps him up, got help from Benson.
This is a big 3rd down. Not for the Raiders so much, but for the Chargers. They need to absolutely pick up some yardage, if for no reason whatsoever, but to give the defense a chance to catch its breath, because the Raiders, in all likelihood, if the Chargers are forced to punt, are going to wind up with the ball around midfield again, and they're letting them play only 50 yards of football. Sooner or later, it's going to collapse on you.
Dan Henning had said one of the 2 keys in the game was field position. It's been all Raiders in that department. Friesz lost the ball. Whistles blew. Will they blow it dead or not? Anthony Smith has the ball. Greg Townsend knocked it away. He was coming hard from the outside. Now, we heard a whistle blow as Friesz was hit, so they may have called in the grass. That would be a break for San Diego.
Now let's go have a conference here.
Friesz,
You know, I'm normally opposed to conferences, but I got to tell you something. This is one that's Warren and talking over. Because the line judge or somebody makes a call with the whistle. Now the question is he in the grass? Do they consider having
The ruling on the field is that the quarterback was in the grass before the fumble. 4th down.
Well, he was not, but the official who blew the whistle did not see the ball.
That's a good way to do it. Here, Townsend puts the pressure on, makes the move up the field. He's got him. That's a lousy call, Mike. I mean, the official's trying to protect the quarterback.
That's right.
I don't have a problem with that. But they put the rule in, and the officials have been asked repeatedly to try and hold back on the whistles just a little bit. That should have been a fumble.
Yet you have the conflict. You're trying to protect the quarterback, so you need a quicker whistle in that instance.
And instant replay cannot overrule if the whistle has been blown on the field.
Kidd once again punting out of his own end zone, and Tim Brown waits at the San Diego 44. High floating punt. Brown comes up to the 40. Got it back to the 32-yard line. A punt of only 34, a return of 10. And John Kidd has not had a good year punting the ball, next to last in the AFC. Coming up later in the month is in the rental car. Roger Craig. Plummer hit him as he got to the 30, fell for a couple of other yards.
Roger Craig, you know, he was forced into the lineup, Mike, early with the injuries to Bell and Marcus Allen, and has really just started to get comfortable. And the one thing that everybody on the Raider team talks about Roger Craig is his work ethic. Art Shell told us last night that he's just phenomenal. He'll take a snap from center in practice and run 60 yards down the field. And the guys take notice of it.
2nd and 7. Craig again. Only a couple. They'll spot it just shy of the 25-yard line. Offensive line of the Chargers huddled together, hoping that they can get something started because their defense has done its job tonight. 5:13 to go in the half. 6-0 Raiders on 2 field goals.
This is not the unit that you want to see resting a lot during a game, is your offensive line.
George Hinkle, the injured Charger, 4-year man out of Arizona, able to come off under his own power.
He's another one of those lightweights, Mike. He's only 270. And it sounds, you know, you say 270, people go, what are you kidding, Theismann? 270's big. Not in this game. Not when you're pounding for for an hour and a half if you're the defense. And the way the Charger defense has been, it's looking more like 2.5 hours against guys that are 300 pounds.
Exactly.
It bears down.
And you have an offensive line that has 290-pound, 300-pound players. 3rd and short for the Raiders this year, 64%. They face 3rd and 3 here. Smith and Craig, the back, split behind Schroeder. Schroeder picked off by Plummer. Excuse me. That's Henry Rolling, who did it in the first game. Henry Rolling with his 2nd interception of the year and a return of 46, the 3rd interception of Jay Schroeder in the half.
Jay Schroeder is just flat struggling. I mean, I have seen that look on his face. We played together for a couple years in Washington. This one, he sets well, he throws the ball, and he just throws it bad. He just flat throws it behind Andrew Glover, the tight end. I mean, it's the right place to go, but he's been throwing the ball behind receivers all night tonight. He sets, fires, and just doesn't put the ball out in front.
Boy, that was well played by Henry Rolling, both in pass coverage, playing on a bad ankle, then he turns around and makes the big return. Marion Butts is in there. Let's see if they'll run it on 1st down. They've gotten away from that. Here comes Butts. Well, maybe it wasn't a good idea after all.
You ask why they don't run it? That's why.
Bob Golick made the stop along with Ricky Ellison, the middle linebacker.
5 completions, 13 attempts, 3 interceptions, And we still have a fair amount of time, 4 minutes and 24 seconds left in the first half.
Al Davis in the middle of your picture. Al Okasawa's longtime assistant to the left.
I'll tell you something. Any other football team would be upset, but the fact is Jay Schroeder was not brought here to be a percentage pick.
That's right.
They're not thrilled about interceptions, but somewhere in the game he'll make a big throw and a big play.
That's a great point. Delay to Harmon. Nowhere to go. Lionel Washington came up and got him around the ankles. And the offense of the San Diego Chargers has been virtually non-existent. 23 yards rushing. And minus 12 passing. That won't get it done.
There's Rolling. He just, he's getting to like to play against the Raiders, too. I mean, the defense is making plays for him. Interceptions, getting him back the ball. I mean, these guys, when the offense comes off, if they manage to not get a first down here, the defense is going to have 2 words for them.
Third and long. Harmon in the backfield. Incomplete. That was nearly picked off by Washington. And now you're going to get the exchange. And a little pushing and shoving after the play again. Ronnie Lott in there. You're going to get the exchange. The next time the offense comes on the field, the defense is going to say, hold them.
Well, that's exactly what's going on. The guys are walking off saying, gee whiz, come on. Dan Henning, you can see that look of disgust. I mean, they're trying to go places with this football that they can't. They're trying to go to wide receivers covered by cornerbacks. And the San Diego Chargers right now do not have the people to get away from these cornerbacks. It's cut and dried, and it's that simple.
John Friesz is 0 for 8. And they really haven't been close. Tim Brown this time waiting at his 10 for Kidd. Short punt. And a Raider bounce down outside the 20. This time a kick of only 22 yards. San Diego's offense has been held to 11 yards in the first half. The wide receivers have been virtually invisible like they were the first time that these two teams played.
The Raider cornerback shut him down. There you go. I mean, this is not a compilation of just tonight, folks. This is 2 games. Actually, a game and a half. 1 catch by the wide receivers in 6 quarters of football on there.
2:55 to go in the half. Allen and Smith the backs. Raiders lead it 6-0. Billy Ray Smith, a great job on the corner to string it out, then got help from Grossman. I can't say enough about San Diego's defense. I mean, they're playing.
They're really playing great. I mean, these guys they can't wait till they get to halftime and they can go in and rest a little bit because they've worked the entire first half. And Ron Lynn and the defense has taken a lot of criticism this year. But the fact is like I said, you're without Lee Williams, one of your main cogs. And the big thing about it is that takes away the big push up the middle. That's why Leslie O'Neal and Bert Grossman's production as sackers is down. Nobody to drive the quarterback out to him.
And Billy Ray Smith comes off the field. They haven't had him most of the year because of an injury. Schroeder dumps it off again to Smith. Smith up to the 29-yard line. Plummer brought him down. Junior Seau hit him. And that will bring us down to the 2-minute warning from Jack Murphy Stadium in San Diego. The Raiders, with 2 field goals, continue to lead at 6-0. Raiders 6-0. That is Junior Seau, the second linebacker in as many consecutive plays, who's come off the field injured for the Chargers. Billy Ray Smith was the first.
Left side of your screen, there he is. He sticks his head in. We've seen enough head and neck injuries. Boy, he jumps up like it really is bothering him.
Billy Ray Smith, who had an ankle rolled on. Watch it right there. And
there's his left ankle.
It was Seau who hit him. Is back on the field on 3rd and 1. And now movement along the offensive line.
That's what upsets coaches. That is the one thing that upsets coaches. Effort they don't get mad at.
False start. Number 66 offense. Prior to the snap. 5 yards. Still 3rd down.
This is, as a quarterback, I'm going nuts in the huddle right now. You got a 2-minute warning. Everybody is stood at in the huddle. You come out and you say, okay, guys, look, we've got to pick this up everybody gets said, they go up and you do that. It's just a lack of concentration. The Raiders don't have their head in this game tonight.
And there is a Pro Bowl and a Hall of Fame offensive lineman who doesn't like it either.
Well, that's one position you don't want to make mistakes, because what are you going to say to Art that he hasn't experienced?
3rd and 6. Grossman makes Schroeder rush out of the pocket, but it's complete for a first down, and Ethan Horton finally held on to one. Donnie Elder made the tackle.
And Jay gets out and makes a good throw that time. And he's not like we say, that's not his strength moving out, but he does move around, and he just sets his jaw. He makes mistakes, and he says, hey, look, I'm going to make a big play somewhere tonight.
Schroeder throws this one, intended for Horton, incomplete. There is a flag down on the play in the secondary. Preliminary call is interference.
I think it may be against the Raiders. It is. You don't see that too often.
Offensive pass interference. Number 88, 10 yards, still first down.
And it's called on Ethan Horton, the tight end. The converted running back, who was a great running back in college, still learning the tight end position.
I've always had my problems with this. They're going to call him for pushing off, but, you know, he's got space. They're making contact. They call that pass interference. I don't agree with it. That's two football players running into one another. And, you know, you got a little guy trying to cover a big guy. If the big guy runs into him, he's not going to hold his ground.
There's Leslie O'Neal. Not much has happened with him tonight on the pass rush. Delay to Marcus Allen. Brought down as he got to the 35, rolling, got a free ride out of that one.
You know, we talk about Thurman Thomas in the league. You talk about Barry Sanders. You talk about the great running backs. But I'll tell you something. This guy is as complete and as great a running back as the game has.
There's another delay. Allen breaks it. Midfield, down to the 44-yard line. And in fact, they have two of them on this team, Allen and Roger Craig. Gain of 21, 46 yards on the night for Marcus Allen. He says, when this team wants to play, we are tough.
What he'll do here is he'll take the handoff, look at, watch, this will be from our goalpost cam. See, he examines the field. Now watch him, starts right, now watch him accelerate. Now I'm up the field. Now I'm a great block by Tim Brown downfield to try and help him out. But that's the thing that amazes him. I remember the Super Bowl 18, when he was the MVP and beat our brains in. What he did is he reversed field and just took a beeline. Once he starts and makes his cut up field, he's unbelievable.
53 seconds to go in the half, and coming up at halftime, Chris Green, right knee. He is questionable for return.
No update yet on Junior Sam.
1st and 10. Schroeder, another drop. This one by Tim Brown. Well, Schroeder's stats would be a lot better. He's had 4 drops tonight.
And he's had 4 that he's thrown into another area code. It's hard to do, to reload. He starts to go with it. Now he reloads it, manages to pat it, and set himself and put the ball where he wants it. That's a nice adjustment by him. You got to have the receiver make a play for you there. I mean, everybody's struggling on the Raiders. Their quarterback's struggling a little bit. Their wide receivers are struggling a little bit. Their line's making some mental errors.
The numbers on Schroeder, the big number that stands out, the 3 interceptions. Comes the blitz, but the Raiders do a great job of taking it up. Horton trying to get out of bounds, and he can't do it. Nice tackle by Donald Frank. And the Raiders will stop the clock with a timeout.
I love that, though, Mike. I love it when you see a receiver who knows the situation in the game. He knows that if he gets out of bounds, the clock will be stopped within 2 minutes of the half, not like it is prior to that. I mean, he's thinking. And you really got to have everybody thinking. Your receivers, your quarterback. Now Jay's got to be careful. Now he's got to try and not make the big plays. You've got to come away with 3. That's fine.
He'll be facing 3rd and 3. The Raiders will have the kind of pain he was before. 3rd and 3 here, but he's not in the lineup. Schroeder. Brown bobbles it, and it may have cost him any chance of the first down.
I don't think he'd had it anyway, Mike. I really don't. He was about a yard short when he went up for it. You know, he looks at the sidelines and says, what do you want me to do? I caught it.
This would be a 54-yard field goal if they try from here.
Tim Brown, he's standing on the line. Now, when he comes back, see, he comes back on the line. He's going to be a yard short anyway. Did the right thing coming back for the ball. You don't think that thing had some mustard on it?
Yes, it did.
I mean, that's a good thing to do. What he wanted to do was come back. If he caught it clean, maybe he gets a chance to make the move and pick up the first down.
The update on Junior Seau. He has a pinched nerve. He will return after halftime. And Billy Ray Smith with a sprained ankle should also be back after halftime. If they tried it from here, as we said, it would be a 54-yard attempt. Jager's career long is 51. There is Junior on the heading line. And on 4th and 3, the Raiders have come out to go for it. Schroeder to Brown. He hung on to that one and has the first down at the 29. Clock running.
Now, J.O., all he has to do is ground the ball, take the time, take about 3 or 4 seconds, set everybody.
And they stop it with 14 seconds left. Raiders do not have a timeout left. So what do you do here, Coach, with 14 seconds to go? Well, you throw it down the middle, or do you? No,
you kick it now. I think you come in and kick it now. You don't. The thing is you got yourself into field position to make the kick. You've got your kicker inside range. You have to look. Jay's been throwing the ball down the field tonight. He doesn't really look like he's settled down. Take the 3 if you can. Go in at halftime, regroup. You'll come out hopefully with a 9-0 lead. And you can't be afraid of San Diego's offense. They've been non-existent. So your defense has to win it, fine.
Jager's already hit 2. This would be from 46. And so far this year, Jager is 26 out of 30. He's had a great year. And there is a delay against the Raiders that will make this one 51.
Looks a little bit like the Atlanta-Green Bay game earlier today. They got 2 in a row.
And Art Shell wondering what is going on. And now we would be back to the position where it would be a career long.
See, when Schroeder throws the ball down, all he does is stop the clock. All they do is reset it. I think that the substitution coming in from the sideline and the indecision was what really caused it. That could be a bench penalty.
They took their time. This would be from 53. Got a chance. And it's good. So Art Shell's confidence in Jeff Jager pays off. A career-long 53-yard field goal, his 3rd of the first half, and it's 9-0.
He was hitting them during warm-ups. I walked by him, and I said, boy, what do you got? Superman legs today? He said, I'm really feeling good. I'm really hitting it good, and he did. This one's true to form. Remember, it's got to come out a little lower because it's got to travel a greater distance. There's no question. Almost hits our goalpost camp. I always thought the holder was the key to kicking. See how he turns the laces away? Mark Mosley, if you're listening, I want you to know that.
Mosley still sends you checks, doesn't he?
No, Mark and I used to have a thing. If it was good, he'd walk off and not say anything. If it was bad, he'd say, you missed the spot. I said, well, I missed the spot on the one you made. What was wrong with that?
8 seconds to go in the half. It has been all Raiders.
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
Nate Lewis, who leads the NFL in kick return, had 1 for a touchdown. Well, San Diego has been limited to 11 yards in offense. The Raiders have nearly 200. Here's the squib kick. Picked up by Bernstein. Dances around, crosses the 35 with 2 seconds to go in the half.
You can move around a little bit, maybe Galliano, or he's got to get back to getting the ball to his backs or tight ends.
And with 2 seconds left, they'll try to throw. Friesz under pressure, hit from behind, held on to the football, and the sack by Anthony Smith, who now has 9.5. That's the end of the first half. 3 Raider field goals have put Los Angeles on top. 9-0. Right now, let's join Chris Berman.
All right, Michael, thank you. So Jeff Mick Jagger has the Chargers under his thumb. 9-0 Raiders at the half, and the Raiders want to keep pace with the Broncos in the AFC West. Boy, last week, all the division leaders, none of them could come through with victories. Today, some of them had a chance to clinch divisions, including the Buffalo Bills, who said hello to an old friend. Playing only his 2nd game this year, Bruce Smith. He's back. What does it mean? Ask Jets quarterback Kenny O'Brien. What does it mean to have Thurman Thomas in the backfield? Ask the Jets. Thermal over 100 yards for the 8th time this year. What does it mean to have Jim Kelly to James Lofton? Means the 4th straight AFC East for the Bills. They beat the Jets 24-13. Redskins at the Rams, and Ernie Thompson early on trying to surprise Lou Senator Ricky Irvins. But Wilbur Marshall also showing some muscle for the Redskins. Strips the ball from Flipper. Posse got going in the second half, ripping to Ricky Sanders. Skins win again, 27-6. They win the NFC East. Giants at the Bengals, Phil Simms trying to phone the right plays in his first start in almost a year. But he dialed the wrong number because the 1-11 Bengals are now 2-11. Mitchell Price was right on the punt return, and the Bengals shocked the Giants. Maybe dash their playoff hopes 27-24. Meanwhile, at Mile High Stadium in Denver, John Elway, questionable starter, did start for the Broncos against the Patriots, and pretty good throw for a guy with a bad arm to Vance Johnson, touchdown. Second quarter, they've come up with some running backs in Denver. Greg Lewis hits a touchdown. Broncos beat the Pats 2nd time this year, 20-3. In the AFC West, Christian Okoye knocked out of the game against the Seahawks. He had a bad knee. Nick Lowry had the educated toe. 4 field goals past Jan Stenerud on the Chiefs scoring list. Steve DeBerg defeat Hot Lips Holohan. Touchdown. Chiefs beat Seattle 19-6. Miami, they get in a big head trying to go to the playoffs against the Buccaneers. Mark Hicks had a 100-yard day, 25 carries, 131 yards. Dan Marino has the Marks brothers, but on this day, he also had Tony Martin. Miami wins the Battle of Florida easily. Eric Dickerson back for the Colts, and they're all fired up. Jesse Hester fumbled. Jeff George intercepted. Jeff George sacked and a bye. James Jones picks it off. I think you get the picture. Cleveland rolled the Colts 31-0. Packers hit the Falcons. Albert Shelley with the big hit on the Packers. Charles Wilson. It's a fumble. Country Joe and the Fishback. It's a touchdown. We're tied at 28. Now under a minute to go. The Falcons trail by 3. But Chris Miller to Andre Bad Moon Rising. Falcons win again. What's happened to the vaunted defense of the Saints? Up by 7 against Steve Bono and the Niners. It's Bono to Dexter Carter that ties the game. And then Steve says, I got you, babe, to Jerry Rice. His first touchdown in 6 weeks. The Niners had another score late, and they beat the New Orleans Saints, sending the Saints to their 3rd straight loss, 38-24. That division once upon a time was under wraps by the Saints. It's not anymore. When Tom Jackson joins me, we'll analyze the wild, wild NFC West.
And they just really haven't had an opportunity. I mean, the average starts, that's really a key to this game. That tells you how good the Charger defense has been playing. The Raiders have started at their own 44. The Chargers back at their own 25.
Chargers will get the football to start the 3rd quarter. It has been a game of field position, and San Diego has not done well with it. Johnny Elder runs up on the kick. He has a seam here. And Elder out near the 40-yard line before Napoleon McCallum horsepowered him. There's a flag down on the play back where the Raiders kicked off.
They were offside down the field.
Offside, kicking team number 57, penalty refused, first down.
Here's the San Diego Chargers drive chart. The first time they had the ball was the only thing they did anything, and Butts ended that drive with a fumble. Since then, they've done absolutely nothing. 3 of the drives minus yardage. Butts on first down. remember, they did so well in the first game running the ball against the Raiders. I think that's what they have to go back to.
And remember, the first series they had the ball in this game, they were moving the ball pretty well till Butts fumbled and Winston Moss picked it up off of Butts' legs. So this is the kind of rhythm. I mean, you want to stay close, get some points, but more importantly, give that defense a chance to regroup. Even a halftime isn't long enough for them to get some rest.
Not after the first half. Butts. Well, this looks like the first possession, just grinding out up the middle. Butts to midfield. He's got a first down before Tom Benson took him down.
Boy, Benson nailed him. But the thing that's happening now is that the Chargers up the middle with Courtney Hall and Mike Sandusky and David Richards are starting to get a push against Golick and those two inside linebackers.
You know, sometimes I think you make this game a little more complicated than it really needs to be, and you outsmart yourself. Here you got Butts and Bernstein in the second-ranked ground game in the NFL, and you get away from it and start throwing on first down.
You don't necessarily get away from it, Mike. What you want to do is change up, looking for that opportunity to gain more than 3 or 4 yards.
Butts slipped the tackle down to the 42-yard line. Scott Davis got a ride.
I'll tell you, he's such a great back. Watching him work Friday in practice, you watch him set things up. He is a larger version of a Marcus Allen. He slides and slides and slides. Watch what he does here. He'll slide along the line, slides out to the right. Now, bang, Greg Townsend comes upfield, slides right inside, picks up 4 or 5 more yards, finally winds up getting tackled 8 yards downfield. But he just, once he makes his move upfield, boom, he's gone.
Last year, he gained over 1,200 yards, went to the Pro Bowl, most valuable player on this team. 2nd and 3. But hit in the backfield that time and got back to the line of scrimmage and no more.
Ricky Ellison just fired through. You know, you look at this Raider team and you say Ricky Ellison and Roger Craig and Ronnie Lott, and you think, geez, are we doing a 49er game or are we doing a Raider game?
Ellison really undersized these days, only 225 pounds. Ronnie Lott, of course, tied to the NFL lead in interceptions.
They talk about you got to be strong up the middle. You have Lott at safety, you got Ellison on the inside linebacker. That's where you have to be strong on defense, up the middle.
4 straight carries, 5 bucks. Make it 5. Scott Davis wouldn't let him outside. He dives forward, got to the 41. They need to go just inside the 40 for a first down. And that time, the Raiders had a lot of men on the line of scrimmage.
Again, it's penetration. If the defense can get across the ball and move the offensive line back, they're not going to make plays. This is 40 gut. That's all it is. It's a simple play. But you see, when he starts to run wide against the penetration, you're not going to do it in short yardage. And you got to go for it here. What do you got to lose, Dan? I think it's a good move.
And the Chargers have gone for it more than anyone this year. 4th, more than a yard. They'll hope that Butts can get it. And the Raiders go outside and tie him up. That time, everybody was on the line of scrimmage. Ronnie Lott was the first man there to bring down Marion Butts. It's 9-0. Marion Butts carried every play of that last possession, but the Chargers gambled on 4th down and didn't make it, so the Raiders take over at their own 44-yard line. Roger Craig back in at tailback. And he'll get the carry. Across midfield into San Diego territory.
On the 4th down play, the Chargers tried to run. Left part of your screen, Ronnie Lott, number 42, comes up late, reads it, it's a run. Now he forces the play. What he does is he forces Marion Butts back. Doesn't necessarily make the tackle, but he makes the hit to allow his friends to come over and gang up on him. 3 and 9, why not? I mean, the Chargers have gone for it more than anybody in the league, and I think it was a good decision.
Back in the ball game for San Diego. This is Steve Smith, who's gotten a lot of action tonight. A flag goes down, and Smith has the first down. Henry Rolling made the stop. And Gary Plummer indicates it's against the Raiders.
See, I don't think that for the Raider offensive linemen, I don't think that run blocking is a forte of theirs.
Holding, number 66, offense, 10 yards, still second down.
Steve Wright, their right tackle, on the hold. But I just think they're a football team that you see, they got to get bloody. I mean, that's Raider football, you know, and that's Bob Golick. That's Raider. I mean, you think Bob Golick, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he cut himself at halftime just to be able to get a little bloody, to feel like he wasn't into the game enough. There's the defensive line, and Golick's looking like a bloody guy. There's the offensive line. Defense sitting on the bench. Offense out there working. Not too much blood on those guys yet.
2nd and 13 now for the Raiders after the penalty. No pressure all night on Schroeder. Wide open, Willie Gault. Ducks under a right cross by Darren Carrington and gets 20.
Speed scares you, and he's got a ton of it. Hasn't had a very good year so far. Only has caught 17 balls coming into tonight's game. But they bunch up the receivers. One guy, Roger Craig, goes outside. Now Willie Gault just sits down in the vacant area. Sits down in space, makes the catch, and ducks on down. This is the forte of the Raider offensive line, pass blocking. And Schroeder hardly gets anybody near him.
Roger Craig. And San Diego diagnosed that one very well. Came up in a hurry, stopped him back at the line of scrimmage. Bert Grossman and Henry Rolling on the stop.
Jay Schroeder has been struggling a little bit tonight, as we mentioned. And really part of the reason is if you look right there, this is where he's made a lot of his completions. That's not his bag. This is where he should be completing passes more than he is. They've tried 4 deep ones. Terry Robisky, the offensive coordinator, says, against the Chargers, I want to try and go deep at least 5 times. They've already taken 4 shots tonight.
In the Chargers secondary without Gilbert and Stanley Ritchie. Schroeder had this one batted right back in his face, and big number 93, George Thornton, did it, and then got a shot from Wisniewski after the play.
Just like everybody else, offensive linemen are proud. You don't want, he knows that in film sessions that they're going to say, you got to get that guy's hands down. And so he's mad at him. What do you knock that down for? Huh? Now I'm going to get yelled at in the meeting. Come on.
You guys are all alike.
We're hyped. An offensive guy once.
3rd and 11. You were a punt returner once. Schroeder again with time and throws too high for Horton. And a flag comes down late. Seal was on him. It looked like there had been contact. And this should draw a foul.
I'll tell you, though, this should be an uncatchable ball. That's what they're discussing. That ball was nowhere near anybody. Question is if he was interfered, was this ball catchable or not?
I always hated that rule. To me, it allowed the defensive back to do anything he wanted.
I think if a quarterback misses a guy that bad, he deserves to be penalized. I don't know why these fans are booing. It's only going to, if they're discussing something, it's going to be good for the Chargers, not for the Raiders.
The pass was ruled uncatchable. There's no foul on the play. 4th down.
Well, that just means you can interfere with someone blatantly. I don't like it.
But you see, it isn't a case. I don't think so, Mike, because you couldn't tell whether. I mean, you don't know where the ball's going to be thrown. If you interfere with them, you're not sure whether it's going to be high or not. I just think it's a good call. If the ball's not catchable, there shouldn't be interference.
Jeff Gossett will come on for only the 2nd time, and Kittrick Taylor, 5th in the NFL, waits at the 10-yard line. San Diego with 10 men on the line of scrimmage. They don't get there, and it's a low line drive kick. Fielding on the bounce by Taylor. He has no blockers back there because they went for the punt block but did get a couple out of it. A return of 2 after a punt of 31. The good news for San Diego is they're down by only 9 points. The bad news is their offense is back on the field. John Friesz is 0 for 8. He's been sacked twice for 19 yards. They have literally done nothing with the ball when they've had the opportunity. Greg Townsend. The one thing the Chargers have done without 2 starters on the offensive line is give John Friesz pretty good protection, even with the 2 sacks. They'll have to start from their own 11. Ronnie Harmon in the backfield. And Harmon will get the carry. Wrapped up by Nolan Harrison, the 6th-round draft choice out of Indiana.
Give you an idea where the Chargers have tried to run the football tonight. They've run twice, picked up 2 yards, running 2 for 5 to the left, 8 for 7 off the left side. 6 times for 30 yards off the right guard, and 1 for 4. I mean, the place you want to go is right through there. And that's where Howie Long normally plays, who's been sidelined.
Gain of 2 on the last play, 2nd and 8.
Scott Davis.
Friesz dumps it to Harmon. Has the first down, stays inbounds. They'll mark him out at the 25-yard line. Eddie Ederson, the free safety, knocked him down, but that's a gain of 12. There was 7:24 to go in the 3rd quarter. The first pass completion for San Diego.
And he went to the right place. I mean, all night in the previous part of the game, the first half and up until now, they've tried to get the ball to wide receivers. This is your better matchup. Ronnie Harmon out in the flat against Ricky Ellison on the linebackers. I mean, that's, I think, where you're going to have the biggest advantage if you're the San Diego Chargers.
And that's the 45th catch for Harmon this year, so they're used to doing it. Friesz airs this one out. Contact, the receiver goes down, and the flag goes down. Jamie Holland or Kitrick Taylor on a fly pattern and was tripped.
This is a tougher one to call, and that's what they're going to look at now, is if it was catchable, because when the ball is on a go pattern, it's difficult to judge the speed of the receiver. Like we saw with Ethan Horton, the ball was obviously too high for him to even make an effort at. I think this is a tough one to call.
Defensive pass interference.
Like I said, Mike, you know, you just don't know how fast the Nate Lewis is going down to catch it. You see him going down the left side, gets tripped up. Now, how far would he have run to be able to make the play on the ball? It's a difficult decision to make. There it is again. He's tripped up right at that line. Ball lands 5 yards up. It's a tough call by the official.
37-yard penalty on Lionel Washington. And maybe the break that the Chargers needed on offense. They're at the rate of 38. Friesz to throw yet again. Sideline complete at the 32. Got it out to Kitrick Taylor. Harry McDaniel made the stop. He has been a steady receiver, although he hasn't made many catches this year. Only 12. And McDaniel, who is excellent speed and a great closer. And John Friesz has come out throwing in this series, and it's been successful.
Well, they obviously found out that they just can't pound the ball and pound the ball. They saw that when they tried to go for the 4th down.
2nd and 4. Ronnie Harmon is the setback. Friesz, double pump, tried to dump it to Harmon. And right there with him was Ricky Ellison, the middle linebacker. Not a well-thrown ball that time, but Scott Davis is applying pressure.
John Friesz is just hanging in the pocket real tight. I mean, he's not going to run away from anybody on 2 good legs or 2 good ankles, but he's showing some real toughness. I mean, the young man has matured a lot. Only 2 for 11. Not the greatest numbers in the world, but he just hangs right in the pocket. I mean, and remember that. He's got that left ankle problem. See that can't help you at all. When your center steps on it, almost knocks you over.
Bernstein has checked in as the single setback on 3rd and 4. yards to Nate Lewis, his 3rd touchdown catch of the year, and the 9th touchdown pass for John Friesz.
And he's unflappable. We saw him get stepped on by a center before, but look at this pass. Okay, that ball, that's going to be called back. That ball, they're going to review it, and it's going to be 1st and goal. There it is right there.
Yeah, the knee's down, the ball's
the knee is down, the ball is right here. That ball's going to be marked on the 1.5-yard line. There's no question whatsoever.
We've said that before.
Oh, God, thank you, Mike. I'm sorry. Excuse me. We don't think that there's any question whatsoever.
That's better.
Okay. Sorry about that.
No, I'm not going out on any more limbs. I'm telling you.
Two very curious.
We have a reversal. The ball will be placed on the 1-yard line. 1st and goal.
Good call.
Yeah, I mean, that's, you know.
So it's a 31-yard gain.
Nate Lewis does an excellent job of getting up the field. Watch where his knee hits. See where his knee hits right there? His knee is there. The ball is here. Excellent job by the officials. Excellent job by the people in the booth.
Now the Chargers will have 4 shots from the 1.
You know, they're probably going to give the ball to Marion Butts. What a great place for some play action.
Well, they've got Butts and Bernstein in there. If they go play action, they may come after Dan Heenan.
70 chip, run off left tackle.
Bernstein. Eddie Anderson held him up at the goal line. No touchdown. What a hit by Anderson at 210 pounds. Holy cow, what a play.
Okay.
One of the bigger safeties in the league. He's 6'1", 210. Lays it in. Lott gets pushed out. What? Eddie Anderson. It's me and you. Boy.
Oh, that's sensational.
That's big-time football. Right there. That's a big-time hit.
2nd and goal.
Raiders are offsides here.
Bernstein.
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
Touchdown.
Raiders were, the hand was over the ball, their heads were over the ball. Chargers still managed to get it in. We got one. The Raiders have kept the Chargers in this game long enough to give them a headache now. Good push. Ellison misreads the hole. Eddie Anderson tried it one time. Bernstein decided, hey, look, you're not going to keep me out this time.
John Carney on from the point after that would make it a 2-point game. And it's 9-7. Rod Bernstein, the former tight end, gets his 4th rushing touchdown of the season. And we've got a ball game. Bernstein's touchdown has cut the lead to 2. 5 minutes, 14 seconds to go in the 3rd. And the Raiders kicking on. McCallum and Holland are deep. The former Navy star takes it at the 2. And stopped just shy of the 20. Take a look at the AFC West standings to show you again why this is such a huge game for the Raiders. Denver winning today goes a half game up. The Raiders would be very satisfied to go to 9-4 because they will win any tiebreaker with Denver because of the sweep. Kansas City right behind. Here's what they have left. Tough road. Buffalo, New Orleans, Kansas City. But Denver, on the other hand, playing that 5th place schedule, has it easier with Cleveland, Phoenix, and then here at San Diego to finish the season. And Art Shell was adamant last night. You can't slip up. You've got to win them all. Schroeder rifles it incomplete. Throwing for Ethan Horton.
Raiders have to settle down now and get back into some kind of rhythm. You know, they ran the ball. They have actually run the ball very effectively. I think the way they can do it is just settle down, give the ball, get Marcus back in, give the ball to Steve Smith, let him pound out a few yards for you, get a first down to so you can get to a position to give Jay a chance to take some shots.
Nick Bell in for the first time, and Bell across the 25, go back to 26-yard line. Gary Plummer made the tackle. Bell hurt a couple of times this year, was activated this weekend. And he is a load, 6'2", 250. The rookie out of Iowa, the second-round draft choice.
Oh, what a pair of legs on him. That's what they're doing on the offense here, is they're writing down a short list. They're going over with the offensive line, a short list, and then, of course, over on the other side, the Raiders' defensive coach is going over what they want to do to try and stop the Raider offense.
3rd and 4, Marcus Allen back in. Schroeder with an audible. Tipped, and Horton couldn't hold it. Donnie Elder made a nice play out in the flat. The ball tipped at the line of scrimmage, changed the trajectory, and Ethan Horton couldn't get the handle.
That was a case of the Charger defense baiting Jay Schroeder. They know he's been audibilizing, so Martin Bayless steps up in. He gives him the look. Okay, you want to run the quick post with the slants? Fine. I'll tell you, I'll get you to it. Then I'll go back to a defense that creates a problem for you.
Gossett to kick. The Chargers defense probably fired up because the offense able to get some points on the board. And Kittrick Taylor waits at his own 35. Nice floating punt this time, and Taylor signals fair catch with a man in his face. Makes it at the 32. No return after a 40-yard punt. We'll be back in a moment. Jack Murphy Stadium in beautiful San Diego. 4:01 to go, third quarter, and we finally have a ball game after the Raiders had led it 9-0 at the half. The Chargers score to cut the lead to 2.
Beautiful. I mean, cold San Diego.
Cold and beautiful.
A little nippy, that's right. Cold and beautiful.
Chamber of Commerce just hates to see us coming. Temperature drops 50 degrees wherever we go. Chargers go to the run with Bernstein. Ronnie Lott strung it out and got help. Eddie Anderson came up to make the tackle. Tomorrow's headlines brought to you by Levi's. The Skins clinch their division, romping over L.A. The Bills win their 4th straight AFC East. The 49ers with a great fourth quarter, and Steve Bono's performance beat the Saints. Dan Marino, 8th season, over 3,000 yards. Andre Rison and the Falcons win again. And roaring past the Giants, the Bengals get 17 in the fourth quarter.
And that has plagued the Giants all year, is their defense stopping people from scoring in the fourth quarter.
2nd and 7. Pass complete at the 50-yard line, now ruled incomplete. And Nate Lewis really upset about it. Says, I had it.
No doubt in his mind. No doubt in his mind whatsoever.
Of course, receivers have been known to lie in these circumstances.
Well, if it's close, they deserve the opportunity to say it. I mean, defensive guys have also said the same thing. Friesz looking more comfortable in the pocket. He throws this one low. Yep, you see it? Did you see the tip of the ball sneak out onto the ground? It actually, he does get his hands underneath it, but the tip of the ball on that other replay just does sneak out and touch the ground.
And Art doing his
third down
referee impression, and it will be third down, an incomplete pass.
Fans don't like it, but the official, again, did a good job of ruling. Guys on the field made a good call.
Now, if Art was an official, no one would argue with it.
No.
3rd and 7. Friesz in trouble, and he's sacked. Nolan Harrison with the 3rd sack for the Raider defense. So the Charger offense cannot produce twice in a row, and they'll have to punt it away. John Kidd comes on. He's had an awful night punting the football. His 29-yard average came in with the worst net in the AFC, only 32.9 yards. Tim Brown waiting for it. have a chance to return this one from the 34. And brought down back at the 29. Great hustle, a loss of 4 after a punt of 38. Steve Hendrickson down to make the tackle. Game day and prime time every Sunday on ESPN. Start your day at noon, and we'll update you on all the schedules, what's going to happen in the NFL, and then back at 7 o'clock prime time, and I do mean all the highlights. And then at 8 o'clock, Joe and I will be in Tampa, Florida. The Vikings against the Buccaneers. Could be the last call from Minnesota. They have a week off this week. Nick Bell breaks the tackle. Martin Bayless got a piece of him out at the 35-yard line.
Now, I think this is the way the Raiders have to attack the rest of this ball game. The end of the third quarter, going into the fourth quarter. Take some time. Realizes that the defense has been on the field a long time. You've had Marcus Allen out there. Now you bring in the Sherman tank. You know for sure he's going to break tackles. There's a one-armer by Junior Seau. Can't bring him down. Big guy, big leg, big body, tough to tackle.
Now the officials have halted play, but the clock continues to run. We've already lost about 10 seconds.
That clock running all over the place. Game clock, 25-second clock.
They stopped the action with about 1:55 to go.
Please put 1:47 on the game clock. 1:47.
So they'll put 3 seconds back of the 11 they ran off. And it's still 2nd and 4 for the Raiders.
The thing about Jay Schroeder, Mike, is he's thrown the 3, but he's scary because you know he's got that big play arm, and that's the thing that scares you.
Especially when he's got Willie Gault and Tim Brown in there as receivers. Here's Bell again, powering his way. When Stanley Richards showed no fear at all. The rookie safety out of Texas at 197 pounds came up, met him helmet to helmet, and stood him straight up. Richard playing with a very sore-soled shoulder and a bad neck.
Number 76, Steve Wisniewski, takes Junior Seau for a ride, and then he holds him a little bit and then sends him for a further ride. Third year out of Penn State.
Made the Pro Bowl a year ago. Bell again. Room to run outside. Knocked out of bounds, but not until he got to the San Diego 42. Another first down, and once more, Stanley Richard made the stop.
The Raiders spot their backs so well. You know, Roger Craig starts it a little bit, sort of cuts here, cuts there. Then Marcus Allen comes in on third down and makes the big plays. They use that in the first half. Then they bring in Nick Bell to sort of bloody your nose a little bit because he's so darn big and fast.
And, of course, the one guy that they don't have, Bo, who was sort of an addition if you had him. This time Steve Smith, maybe a yard. Of course, the Raiders have finally come to terms with that Bo will be playing baseball and no more football in his future. He was a great player for the couple of half seasons that he played for this ball club. That is going to be the end of the third period here in San Diego. The Raiders clinging to a 9-7 lead over the San Diego Chargers. We'll be back in a moment. Getting ready to go to the fourth quarter in San Diego. The Raiders lead the Chargers 9-7. We have seen all year long that the Raiders have a good enough defense to get into the playoffs and maybe go a long way in the playoffs. Do they have a good enough offense?
Yes, they do. Their offense has, and remember, it's an offense built on big plays. They've got big play people. Jay Schroeder has thrown the 3 interceptions tonight, but he can put the ball down the field, and they have their full complement of running backs. That's going to be a key, is to keep Marcus Allen healthy. He is the key, as far as I'm concerned, for the Raiders at the end of the season and also going on into the playoffs if they get there. He's the guy that's got to make it happen for them.
Well, this is an important drive here from the San Diego 42-yard line, leading by 2 points, 2nd and 9. Schroeder changing the play. Bell. Tripped up before he reaches the 40. And Henry Rolling was the guy who had his ankles.
You know, now the San Diego defense has got to feel pretty good. Now they're going to make Jay throw the football, and they've had good success against them. It's 3rd down and 8, long yardage. That means you can drop your linebackers back.
The guy who has been open most of the night has been the tight end Ethan Horton, but he's dropped at least 3 passes.
And when Jay has thrown the ball on 3rd down, there's the results. Only 4 for 8 with 2 INTs. That's not the place you want to throw the interceptions, believe me.
3rd and 8 here. Chargers come with a blitz. Schroeder off his back foot, throws it away, and Ethan Horton was the guy who was trying to hit. Martin Bayless was out there with him.
He makes a good decision right there. He does a good job of throwing the football. Jay still has a pretty good amount of time. Number 65, Max Montoya. Number 66, Steve Wright. Right tackle, right guard. Look at the tandem picking up the blitzes. Now, when the quarterback flushes like Leslie O'Neal is chasing him, you can't do anything about it. All you can do is protect an area.
Would have been a 58-yard field goal, so they'll go with the punt. Gossett comes on and gets it. Taylor waits at the 10. Chargers again with 10 men on the line of scrimmage. And Gossett, low line drive. Taylor makes the catch at the 10. Trying to reverse his field, stays on his feet. A 2.5-minute run for 3 yards. 31-yard punt, and Gossett twice in a row seeing 10 men on the line of scrimmage has just gotten rid of the football, line drive or not. All of our shots from the air tonight out of Carson, California, the Goodyear Blimp Columbia. Nick Nicolari, the pilot.
I like it when it gets around Christmas and they put all the different colored lights on the blimp. You know, it's
getting close.
Green and red. Yeah.
23 shopping days left until a colored blimp.
That's right. Can't wait.
Chargers take over at the 14-yard line. Down by 2. Harmon. Turned the corner. Showed a little speed there. Eddie Anderson ran him out of bounds.
I don't think you're going to make yardage against this Raider defense. Their safeties play too close to the line of scrimmage. Anderson and Lott both like to get up around the perimeters. By the perimeters, I mean around the corners outside the tackles and the tight ends. See, the safeties, they're just too close. I mean, you only have 3 guys back. You can't run this way against them and be successful. You got to run north and south. You can't run east and west. Got too many of them up around the line.
2nd and 9. Friesz down the middle. McEwen, the H-back, has it at the 45. Craig McEwen with his 26th catch of the year. And this is the longest, a gain of 30.
That's the commitment that you make. If you want to get people up around the line of scrimmage to stop the run, you expose the middle of the field for the secondary. Greg Townsend coming off the right side. Thompson does a good job on him. Friesz hanging tight. I mean, the kid's got ice water in his veins. Does a nice job. Now, that's an easy pass to overthrow because the guy's so wide open. All he does is get it to him, let him make the completion, and let's move on.
After an awful first half, Friesz is 4 out of 6 for 79 yards in this half. Wants to throw again and throws complete for about 5 yards near midfield. Harmon came out of the backfield to get it. Ellison and Benson were there. The physical aspect of this game is stretched so much, especially for quarterbacks, but it is so much mental with a guy like John Friesz, who has a bad ankle, had a horrible first half, and here he comes out in the second half. They're counting on him to try to win the game, and he's doing it.
He's a young guy. He doesn't know any better. I mean, he doesn't know to be scared. He's just, you know, delighted he's playing.
Putz. Dragging people with him, gained about 4. McDaniel on the tackle along with Anthony Smith and Scott Davis.
This is the difference in the Raider offensive line versus the Charger offensive line. On 3rd down and short, you've got some big guys to go after because you know you're going against an undersized defense. When you go up against that Raider defensive line and linebackers, none of them are undersized, so you have to make good blocks.
Chargers have made 2 out of 3 third and short situations tonight. This is 3rd and 1. But second effort, got across the 45-yard line and had to get about the length of a football across to get the first down.
Terrific effort. Ricky Ellison had him stopped. He gets hit initially. He's stopped by Ellison, it looks like, and he manages to get the surge for the first down. Here comes Ellison, number 50, right in the middle. He hits him square. He's got him stopped. He is not over the 50-yard line, but he won't be denied.
That is the difference in a 225-pound middle linebacker against a 250-pound running back.
I say he made it by right in the middle of the football.
You are perfect for the season.
I just absolutely amazed myself by how wrong I can be.
1 inch left, and Dan Henning, who went for it earlier in the game. Remember, the ball's at the 45. You go for it?
Oh, yeah. You went for it before at the 50 or thereabouts. One thing you don't run.
You don't run?
Don't run the quarterback sneak.
Oh, okay. Chargers 9 out of 21. They failed on a previous time tonight on 4th down. Putz the single setback. He'll get the carry and the first down. Ten minutes, 17 seconds to go in the game, and the San Diego Chargers trying to throw a monkey wrench into the Los Angeles Raiders' plans of tying up the AFC West again at Jack Murphy Stadium in San Diego. Chargers down by 2, but driving. They're now at the Raider 42-yard line, and now we are under 10 minutes. Harmon out in the flat. Fumble. And the Raiders have it, Ellison. That was an ill-advised throw by John Friesz out to Harmon because Greg Townsend figured it out and was standing right in front of Harmon.
Yeah, but you see what it is, Mike, is the read on that is you either take the hook downfield or automatically you turn and throw it to the back. What's ill-advised is by Ronnie Harmon not putting the ball away. Ronnie Harmon sees the trouble. See, he doesn't even look for the linebacker. Now there's the throw. He doesn't put it away. He tries to make him miss. And I don't blame the quarterback as much as I blame the running back for not putting the ball away. Now it's up to San Diego's defense again.
Huge play by Townsend.
And you can't, of course, that's right. That's the other thing, is you're up against Greg Townsend, who's a perennial All-Pro.
Another break for the Raiders. Bell. Flag is down as Bell reaches the 39-yard line. Thrown in the area where you normally get holding, and that's what it is. And one of the Chargers is down. We've already seen a couple of San Diego players limp off during this game. Defenders.
Holding, offense, number 76, 10 yards, still first down.
That's the Pro Bowler, Wisniewski, the left guard. Checking on the injured player to make sure we know who it is. And we'll check on the injured San Diego defensive player when we come back. 9:36 to go in the game. Henry Rolling, who was inactive a week ago because of an ankle injury, has another one and has to be helped off the field for the Chargers defense. But he leaves with San Diego in pretty good shape after the holding penalty. It's 1st and 20 for the Raiders back in their own territory. Nick Bell gets the carry. Tried to get outside, and Gary Plummer filled the hole. Also up quickly was Cedric Mack, number 47.
Cedric Mack did the right thing. He cut off Nick Bell from getting too far outside, but he's not stupid and just going to stick his head in to Bell's thighs. Watch the right side of your screen. Number 47, Cedric Mack, he comes up. See how he turns it in? He says, I'm not going to stick my head in completely. I'm going to wait for some of those linebackers, the big guys, to come and help me out.
And Plummer did. 2nd and 19. Clock running down to 8:33. Schroeder, and again off the hands of Horton, and Sam Seal nearly intercepted it. Ethan Horton has had a lot of chances tonight, some of them tougher than others, but he's had his hands on a lot of passes.
He's working against linebackers. Schroeder with plenty of time to throw the ball. Now that's not the best pass in the world, but it's certainly a catchable ball. That one does get away. Now, Sammy Seal told me, he said, you know, I haven't had an interception all year, but I always seem to come up with a big play against the Raiders.
3rd and 19. The crowd trying to get the defense into it. Schroeder screen. Marcus Allen got a couple of great blocks, but will be well short of the first down. Sam Seal made the stop, and the San Diego Chargers defense continues to rise to the occasion.
I mean, if somebody tells you this football team is 3-9, you don't believe it. Ron Lynn is really doing an excellent job. Their defensive coordinator, by moving people around. Junior Seau that time was lined up as a down lineman, pulled out to cover the back. A lot of different exchanges up front in the defense for San Diego.
Gossett again sees 10 men on the line of scrimmage. That's Kitrick Taylor, the 11th, waiting at the 10. Chargers drop back for the return this time. Low line drive kick. There's a flag down, and the Raiders down it inside the 10. Now we'll check the flag after a punt of 36. Ineligible man downfield, and almost certainly they'll make them do it again.
Ineligible offensive player downfield. 4th down.
It's a catch-all. One of those guys is downfield. There's a guy that's, I mean, not real happy, right? His football team has not played well tonight. I mean, the Raiders have not played inspired. They missed a couple of early opportunities. I think they felt that if they got them, they'd have put the Chargers away. And it's really been the Los Angeles Raiders that have kept the San Diego Chargers in this game more than the Chargers have kept themselves in it. But Chargers defense done a good job, too.
Sure have. 7.5 minutes to go. Raiders by 2 over the Chargers. Gossett to punt again. Better kick this time, and kicker Taylor signals for the fair catch, but it goes out of bounds. Now the referee walks up to get in sync, and they'll mark it at the 12. So it's a punt of 37 and no return. 7:22 to go. Raiders by 2 with 7 minutes, 22 seconds left to go in the game from San Diego.
There they are. Phone conversation. Jay Schroeder on the left, Mike White on the right, quarterback coach. Talking about what they've seen, how he's doing. Mike White has helped Jay Schroeder so much, as you mentioned earlier, Mike, as a friend and also as a man who really understands the position of quarterback.
First time these teams met, the Raiders gave up 158 yards rushing. Tonight, they have given up only 58 to San Diego. Big difference. Friesz to throw. Looks down the middle. Throws, knocked away, and almost intercepted by Ricky Ellison.
That's incomplete.
The ball has got to get over the linebackers, not through them.
We have seen the ball up in the air a lot tonight. A couple have been real close intercepted. A couple of them knocked away. Take a look at it from our goalpost cam coming right at you. This ball's just down too low. I mean, he did the right thing to try and put it in a place where only the crossing man could get it, but when they drop back those 4 linebackers, it's tough.
There are the numbers on the quarterback. Friesz has had an awful night, but Schroeder has thrown 3 interceptions. Friesz, the out. Ball caught at the 17-yard line by Taylor. Brought down immediately. Terry McDaniel over there in a hurry. We're really impressed with this Raiders secondary. These guys can play.
And for that reason, I think now here the Chargers are going to go into some semblance of a hurry up so they can keep the Raider defenders on the field. I think you try and get the ball to Ronnie Harmon because you got a matchup linebacker on back.
3rd and 4. Harmon sneaks out of the backfield. Friesz throws the other way. Complete. Taylor sideline. Ducks a tackle out near the 46-yard line. That was very close to being an interception.
Well, John Friesz just continues to go at these corners, and he's getting away with it. Kittrick Taylor does a nice job. Little 10-yard out. Slides outside. There it is, so close. Well, there's a gamble by a corner. That's why the corners do it. Terry McDaniel tries to make the play. Lott pushes him out of bounds.
Gain of 27. The Chargers only need a field goal to take the lead. They're about 25 yards away from that. Sustaining the run, they go back to the pass. Again, Kittrick Taylor. Lionel Washington makes the tackle.
John Friesz said he was concerned about the accuracy throwing tonight. I think he doesn't have a concern anymore.
Here's the storyline from San Diego. If you joined us late, we have a sellout crowd of 61,863, the first sellout of the year. Friesz with 116 yards in the second half. Jaeger has provided all of the Raiders scoring. San Diego with only 58 yards rushing and 5 turnovers in the ballgame. Kittrick Taylor has had a big game. 4 catches, 50 yards. He'd only caught 12 all year coming into this one. Here's the run. Harmon dives forward to the Raiders 36. And that will be a first down. Winston Moss, picked up from Tampa Bay, made the tackle. And Harmon slow to get up.
What happens here is you see they're spreading the Raiders out all over the field. Then they're going to hit the play up the middle. That's what they're trying to do. They're in a little bit of a hurry-up offense, a la Buffalo Bills. Friesz at the line of scrimmage, spreading the defense out.
Friesz with time over the middle, complete down to the 21-yard line. Nate Lewis couldn't hold it. We've had 3 or 4 of those right at ground level. The receivers just haven't been able to come up with it.
You know, if I'm a coach, I'd rather have my quarterback missing his receivers on 15, 18-yard ins down low than I would have them up in the air. And you know who else wants that? The receivers appreciate that too. That's a great place to throw it. Keep it down low. Only they can get it.
Friesz faced with 2nd and 10. He did not complete a pass in the first half. Throws for his receiver down at the 31-yard line. Again, Kittrick Taylor with his 5th catch. Terry McDaniel makes the stop. It'll bring up 3rd and about 5. From this point, it would be a 48-yard field goal attempt for John Carney.
I think the biggest difference in the swing in this second half has been control of the line of scrimmage. In the first half, the Raiders' defensive line controlled the Chargers' line. The second half, the Chargers' offensive line has done a better job.
Bernstein is the single setback. Complete for the first down. Patrick Taylor is having a career tonight. Ronnie Lott made the tackle. 6 catches, 60 yards. He only caught 12 the entire year up until now.
Right in the middle of the field. You see what Friesz is seeing. He looks out to the left to check the safety. Patrick Taylor sits down in the middle. Ronnie Lott can only close to make the play.
Taylor missed 4 weeks of the year with a bad knee. Out of Washington State, a free agent. Time becoming a real factor. Bernstein leans forward to the 21-yard line.
What they're doing now is I think they're going to try and bleed the clock a little bit more. I mean, that's why he brings in the tight end. But I don't necessarily agree with trying to bleed the clock with 3:30 to go in the game. I think Coach Henning wants to try and take as much time off as he can. His defense is playing well. You can do that if you're a quarterback by keeping your team in the huddle. Still come in with the 2 or 3 wides. It's been successful for you. Keep what's going hot.
An update on Henry Rolling, the San Diego linebacker, out of the game with an ankle sprain. 2nd and 8. Friesz over the middle. Touchdown! Tight end Derek Walker. There is a flag down on the play. And it comes back. Derek Walker had his first touchdown catch of the year and saw it wiped out.
Holding on the offensive center. 10 yards, still 2nd down.
That's Courtney Hall, and he is their best offensive lineman.
Friesz gets rid of the ball real quick. Now Courtney Hall will be right in the middle. Obviously, if he's the center, he should be. He's right there in the middle. Watch what happens. There comes the rush. He gets caught. Who's he hold? But he's got his right arm wrapped around the leg
of Nolan
Harrison. That's the key.
Here is the biggest thing about that penalty. Not that it took away the touchdown. It takes them out of field goal range. Friesz over the middle and way overthrown, intended for McEwen.
Worked one time for him, may as well try it again. It didn't look like Courtney Hall was holding, but he's right over here. Watch what happens. He's going to come in, and he's going to hook his leg. That's what's going to happen right there. Nolan Harrison, see his right arm? His right arm is hooked. He makes the hold, and that's what they call.
From here, it would be a 49-yard field goal attempt. Carney has got the leg, but it would be a long try on a cold night. Bernstein on the draw. Bernstein rolled out of bounds at the 27-yard line.
Carney's last two games have been field goals that have won the games. One against the Saints, the other against the Seahawks. Both of them have come inside 10 seconds, so this one running on down to the 2-minute warning is giving him a lot more freedom.
He's had 3 field goals over 50 yards this year, the long of 56. But at home, off the natural grass, is where he has had his problems. They may wait for the clock to run down to 2 minutes.
That would be the smart thing to do, is let it go down to 2 minutes.
They don't, and Carney had it blocked. The kick looked very, very low.
Steve Ortmeyer, the special team coach of the Raiders, has got to be delighted, looking on. You don't get a lot of opportunities on special teams. When you do, you got to make one, and they just did.
A huge turnaround on the holding call. The Chargers had scored a touchdown, and Scott Davis will get credit for the block. Here's a look at Carney. And Scott Davis got the hand up in the middle of the pile. to make the block. Still 9-7. That was probably the sweetest player of the year for that man, Steve Ortmeyer, the special teams coach for the Los Angeles Raiders, because he used to be the general manager for the San Diego Chargers before he was fired and Bobby Beathard was hired.
Big play. You know, we talk special teams. I mean, that's been the big thing coming up lately. Scott Davis, if you'll remember, blocked a field goal against Denver that allowed the Raiders to beat them.
San Diego has all 3 of its timeouts. Bell. First down. And it takes 4 Chargers to bring him down at the 47-yard line.
That was a big play, because if they were able to stop him, they'd have been able to use the timeout more effectively and been able to get it in 3 downs maybe.
We've got a timeout with 1:42 left to go. 9-7 Raiders. Dan Henning and Art Shell, 2 men who started the season with high expectations for their ball clubs. One has received it, the other has not. Dan Henning may be playing out the string here in San Diego as the head coach. San Diego now down to 2 timeouts. The Raiders have all of theirs left. And Nick Bell has certainly made an impression coming into this game. 7 carries, 50 yards, as Art Shell has rotated his running backs.
And I think one of the things Bobby Beathard mentioned is he wanted to see how this ball club was going to play the last 4 games and then evaluate the way the staff has done. Dan Henning has motivated this 3-9 ball club to put on a show tonight.
Bell to the 50, and another timeout by the Chargers called by Gary Plummer.
Now he's got to count on his defense to make another play.
The defense has done it all night long for the Chargers. They have played hard and they've played well. SportsCenter follows our telecast. Bob Lee and Dan Patrick standing by. The conversation tonight with John Elway. Then at midnight, prime time with Chris Berman, Tom Jackson, and Robin Roberts.
Now, you know it's the 4th quarter. More blood. Bob Golick. You know, what position does he play? I mean, you said, gotta be a nose tackle. Has to be a nose tackle. Golick, one of those nose tackles. A little bit different setup for him. He lines up a yard off of the center. And that comes from his old days of being a linebacker. The first guy he had to line up against was Mike Webster. And that makes a lot of sense. You don't want to get a Mike Webster's nose. You line up a yard away from him. They told him, line up how you feel comfortable. That's how he feels comfortable.
1:37 to go in the game. 2nd and 7 for the Raiders. The Chargers have only a single timeout left. Bell got a yard, and the Chargers will stop it with 1:32 to go. Martin Bayless, the first man up, the strong safety very close to the line of scrimmage.
See, this would have worked out. The way Dan Henning wanted this thing to work out was Nick Bell ruined it for him on the first carry. He got that big first down. It caused them then to allow it around 4 more downs. They can stop him here. They'll get the ball back with probably around 50 seconds to go if they're forced to punt, which is plenty of time to get in field goal range.
And that's all they need, trailing 9-7. But they will have no timeouts to help. Hall will look back on the holding call that negated the touchdown and made it a longer field goal attempt.
That's a tough call to make, too. I mean, the guy is falling over. He's not affecting the play at all. And you know, but if you get the arm or hand exposed where a referee can't help but see it, they have to call it.
First order of business for the Chargers. Stop this run. Bell stopped a half-yard shy at the 45, and now the clock will run. Play clock is at 40 seconds. Would Art Shell consider going for it here?
No. Would you?
Maybe. Well, no.
Right. If you don't make it.
Not up by 2.
No, okay. Thank you very much. Yeah. The whole
Lost my head for a second.
Big picture, Mike. Big picture.
The Raiders in no hurry, and another Charger is down. This is Bert Grossman.
That doesn't do him any good. That doesn't do the Chargers any good because they don't have any timeouts left. Not that it matters to Bert Grossman, who's down on the field.
Chargers have really been banged up tonight. Came in banged up after losing their starting left tackle. Gil Bird, their corner, is out.
The defense is behind in the score. An injury timeout is their 4th timeout. We will run 10 seconds off the clock on our signal.
So not only will they run the 10 seconds off, then the 25-second clock will start. It was 45 seconds, but because this stopped the clock, they will go to a 25-second clock, then run it off. So the Chargers are rapidly running out of time. Won't have to kick until there's about 30 seconds left. Grossman's very slow to get to his feet. And now they're explaining the rule to Art Shell and what will happen.
This is one of those rules that they put in to avoid the so-called fake injuries at the end of a half and end of the game, which is, of course, added to the complexity of trying to figure out what's going on. And I think it's a good addition. It stops the little things that coaches try and do to gain a little bit of an advantage.
But you feel badly for a guy like Grossman. And for the Chargers, this is obviously a legitimate injury, and it's going to cost them 10 seconds.
You can't help it. But, I mean, there are other coaches that have been accused of faking it, and it makes it tough on everybody.
Dan Heading seeing an upset opportunity slipping away.
They had the touchdown, too. That's the most disappointing part of it. Then they had the shot at the field goal. I mean, it's not like the opportunity wasn't there. They just have not been able to deliver when opportunity has presented itself.
So the situation is this. The clock stopped with 1:03, but they will wind 10 seconds off of it for the penalty. Then the 25-second clock will start, and the Raiders can let that run down. Now, as you can see, the game clock running, the play clock isn't. And now it will start. They'll wind it again and restart. And the Raiders will probably let it run all the way down and take a 5-yard penalty.
No, that's not a good idea, because then by taking the penalty, you will stop the clock. I think what you should do is snap it with 1 second to go. Then while the ball's in the air, you're going to burn at least another 5 off of it.
Gossett doesn't look interested in stopping it. And now it looks like the Raiders may have signaled for a timeout. They certainly stopped the clock.
See, the Raiders just handed the Chargers at least 7 or 8 seconds.
They sure did. Now the play clock is back to 25 seconds, and that can't be right. It had stopped at 5 seconds. So now they want to wind it again. Now they're going to run the play clock down to 5 seconds.
See, this whole rule is just, I mean, Jerry Seaman is again going to get some phone calls from people who's the head of referees. It becomes a mass confusion situation at the end of the game. What do you try them out? And the officials know the rule, but the problem is how do you communicate it to the timer to coordinate the game clock and the play clock? I mean, that seems to be the problem that we're having.
Well, right now what it should be is 5 seconds left on the play clock and 32 seconds left on the game clock. But what I want to know, how did Gossett get them to stop the clock without calling a timeout, because they never signaled timeout?
That was the thing. The only way it should have happened would have been if Gossett walked up and said, we want a timeout.
Please set the game clock to 1 minute and 3 seconds. We will run 10 seconds off the clock, down to 53 seconds.
So if there's confusion,
the play clock remains at 25 seconds.
So if there's confusion, you go back to square one and start all over again.
We didn't do anything. Forget what we've been doing for the last few minutes, and we'll start over to get it right.
The Raiders know eventually the defense is going to have to go back out on the field. Chargers are without a timeout. They trail by 2, and now There's a minute 3 left to go in the game. It just got longer again.
It's going to depend also on where the ball lands. If the ball does go into the end zone, let's say the Chargers get it back with 28 seconds. They start at their own 20. Couple of big passes. If you can get up and stop the clock, it's conceivable that Carney could get another shot, probably a long one. But if you're the Raiders, you don't want to even give them a chance.
Hopefully, we finally have this straightened out.
Hey, the amazing thing about this ball game is the Raiders have come out the second half and put 0 points on the board. Had a 9-0 lead going in. Charger defense has stopped them repeatedly all night. In the second half, they've shut them out completely. SportsCenter, of course, will follow our telecast. And now we are winding the mandatory 10 seconds off the clock. This came from the injury without a timeout situation. And now the play clock will start on the second signal. There it is. Okay.
Deja vu all over again.
I think I've seen this before. There you are. You can watch it at home.
And now with no Raiders at the line of scrimmage, obviously they are going to let it run down and take the 5-yard penalty.
See, I don't disagree with that. I mean, I do not agree with that. Okay, you've stopped the
Timeout, Los Angeles. That's their first team timeout.
I don't know why you don't snap it with 1 second to go. You figure in a good 4 or 5 second hang time. Ball bounces on the ground a little bit. Eat up another 3 or 4 seconds. What they basically have done is wasted about 10 seconds in favor of the Chargers.
Every game we've had this year, we've been very fortunate. They've all been close. We hope for the same thing when we visit Tampa for the Vikings against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Been some teams who have really struggled this year, and the Bucs have certainly been one of them. Of course, the Vikings have not set the world on fire, and this, for that group of players, may be the last shot. If they don't get into the playoffs this year, we may see a dismantling of the franchise.
I think you're going to have to see a dismantling, and part of the problem is where do you pick up players? Mike Lynn gave away the house when he made the deal for Herschel Walker.
All right, once again, the Chargers with 10 men on the line of the scrimmage and Kittredge Taylor waiting at the 10.
If you're going after him, you better be careful because it's only 4th and 1. Even a running into penalty would get a first down for the Raiders.
They come but don't get there, and Gossett again, a line drive kick away from Kittredge Taylor and puts it out of bounds at the 6-yard line. 39-yard kick. Great job by Gossett, who has kicked it away from Kittredge Taylor all night long.
Of course, he's only had to punt from his own 45 most of the night.
John Friesz at this point needs a miracle. 23 seconds left, no timeouts.
In this case, what you try to do is you try and get a big completion, 15, 18 yards on the sideline to stop the clock. That leaves you about 15 seconds to go. Then you try and hit about a 20, 25-yard in the middle of the field. Run up, stop the clock, try and get the field goal off.
If you can get back to the line of scrimmage and stop the clock. Raiders are only 3 down linemen. Everyone else will play pass defense. Friesz over the middle, incomplete, and the big hit again by Eddie Anderson. He lays out Nate Lewis. And Art Shell was telling us when he really wants to compliment Eddie Anderson, he tells him that was a Jack Tatum hit. And he's had a couple of them tonight.
Nate Lewis, in his second year from Oregon Tech, comes in, tries to make a play on the ball, can't quite make a play, gets his head down, and they go helmet to helmet again.
Well, we've seen too much of this year.
Danny Peoples and of course, Bubba McDowell. Vince Buck got it today in a game earlier. Here's one helmet to helmet. He sets down, and boy, the guy that absorbs, I mean, if you wince and feel like you're going to get hit and try and tense up, you absorb it, and there he is down.
Well, these are the kind of things that you are going to have with players who are so much bigger and stronger and faster. They get that way every year, so the impact of the collisions just increases. Now, this is an injury timeout, and will take another 10 seconds off the clock.
Well, thank goodness he's up. Kyoki Kamau, there on the right, trainer for the San Diego Chargers.
And we understand that they will not run 10 seconds off the clock, that in this situation, it would be a yardage penalty. But it's sure good to see Nate Lewis get up. Needs a little help, but it looks like he'll be fine. Eddie Anderson, the veteran out of Fort Valley State. A couple of monster hits tonight, including one at the goal line that temporarily saved the touchdown.
Offense has been penalized. Not the time, but the yardage, half the distance.
Friesz from the end zone, deep sideline, complete. McEwen has it out of bounds at the 23-yard line, but they're down to 12 seconds. Well, now, Joe, you can't even throw the ball down the middle of the field because you'd never get back to the line of scrimmage.
Now you try and run, again, a corner pattern by somebody. Try and get it up around 50-yard line or so, and there's only going to be 6 seconds left. I mean, you sit here and you try and search, as Dan Henning is doing, okay, what can I do? How can I get? It's going to be tough to get in any kind of field position unless the Raiders make a mistake with an interference call far down the field.
One of the things, or one of the few things they can hope for at this point.
And I think this is the time that they throw their Hail Mary. Hope for the interference call or the big play.
Friesz throws it as far as he can for Jefferson. McDaniel had a hand on it and tipped it. Is it intercepted? It is. And guess who? Ronnie Lott.
Didn't you know somewhere through the night he was going to make a play?
His 58th career interception, his 7th of the year. One of the most brilliant defensive backs that has ever played the game. And updating the standings, the Raiders again tie Denver, but remember, they will win any tiebreaker situation because they beat the Broncos twice this year. Kansas City remains a single game behind. San Diego will fall to 3-10, and the marvelous Ronnie Lott has choked off the last San Diego threat. This will be the final play of the game. Art Shell said his team couldn't afford a letdown. They almost had one tonight, but they pulled it out. Once again, our final score from Jack Murphy Stadium in San Diego. The Raiders 9, the Chargers 7. For Joe Theismann and our entire ESPN crew, this is Mike Patrick. Good night from San Diego. SportsCenter is next after this message.